When I was like 13, I was living away from home, and I was training full-time. That was sort of the moment where I was like, I want to go to the Olympics. I want to be an Olympic medalist.
When you see like all these things about other people who won the Olympics and everything, you think that you've done a great thing, but you're still so far away.
In 2010, I missed the Olympic team. I was sort of a dark horse to make that team anyway, but I'm really glad it didn't work out, because I think in that moment where I felt my lowest and I felt the worst about myself, I needed to really dig deep, and I needed to think, why am I even doing this to myself? I thought about it so much that I realized that my true passion was just being the best I could be every day. It's important to share your views, especially during an Olympics. As an athlete, you're given this incredible platform where you can speak up for people who you don't feel are being heard. So in 2015, I decided that I wanted to come out publicly. And I felt it was important, but I didn't feel like it was a huge deal, because it's not my whole story. It's not everything that I am. It's just a part of who I am. And there were times when I was growing up where I didn't feel like it was okay to be gay, or it was not okay to be myself. And I think more than anything, people can relate to not feeling like they belong. People can feel like they just walk into a space and nobody likes them. That's a relatable feeling, whether they're gay or they're not. But no matter what, if you are really true to yourself, that's what's most important. That's when you feel your best as a person.
BBYO, please join me in welcoming U.S. Olympian Adam Rippon.
Hey everybody. How are you? Love it. Everybody's in good spirits. I'm super excited to be here. I'm really excited to tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Adam Rippon. Girl, you are nailing it. She's on that post-Valentine's Day high. I'm super excited to be here. So I am a figure skater, and I want to tell you a little bit about my career and like how I got to be here today. So I started skating when I was 10 years old, and it was actually the first thing I ever did where I felt like I wasn't terrible at. I used to play baseball. There we go. I tried to play soccer. Yeah, wow, we have so many Jewish sports fans. Yeah. So when it came to baseball, I was always put in the outfield. So one day I thought I was going to do this fantastic move where I wouldn't have to play baseball anymore. So I asked my mom, what do people look like when they faint? And she was like, if you faint, I'm gonna kill you. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'm not gonna faint. And I always tried to find ways to just I wanted to find something I was good at. And when I found skating, it was the first time that being the smallest, being the shortest, it didn't matter, that I could just focus on myself. And I fell in love with it right away. As soon as I started, I had these goals that I wanted to go to the Olympics, and I wanted to be an Olympic medalist. And the first time I had the chance to qualify for the Olympics was in 2010. And I was pretty young, and I ended up becoming an alternate for the team. So I wasn't really worried. I was like, the next time I'll go, it's fine. It's not a big deal. And in those next 4 years, between 2010 and 2014, is the first time I really felt a lot of pressure. It felt like I had to make it happen, or it was never going to happen. And so within those 4 years, I had a lot of ups and downs, and I was trying to do everything everyone told me to do. I was trying to do all the right things. I was trying to skate to the right music. I was trying to dress in the right costumes. I was just trying to do everything I could to please everybody else. But I wasn't thinking about myself. When I got to the Olympic qualifying competition in 2014, I just was awful. And I felt all of this pressure and all these expectations surrounding that. It just kind of all came on me all at once. And I just felt like this huge weight. And I just thought, okay, it's never gonna happen. Like maybe it's never gonna happen. And in that moment of just feeling at my lowest, I realized the only thing I could do was just to take it one step at a time. And when I started to take it one step at a time, and I started to think about all the things that were really important to me, that's when my career completely changed. And I thought about all the things that were important, and in 2014, there was this anti-gay propaganda law in Russia, and the Olympics were in Sochi, Russia. So as athletes, we were asked a lot about what did we think about this law, and obviously as somebody who is gay, I'm gay, surprise. Thank you, everyone, good night. Love you too. So there's this, anti-gay propaganda law, and I felt like I wanted to say something about it, but I didn't know what I should say or how I should react to this. Obviously, I thought it was an awful idea. I didn't really even know what it meant. But the Olympics came and went, and I thought, you know what, I can't stop thinking about this. I wish I had said something. I wish that I was able to speak out. Because growing up as a young gay kid from a really small town in Pennsylvania, I always felt like, Derry, Pennsylvania. Love it. So many fans of everything here. But in that small town of Pennsylvania, I always felt like I was an alien, and I didn't feel like I belonged, and I wanted to speak to that young kid who felt like he didn't belong. And so that's when I made the decision to come out publicly, and I found so much strength in doing that. And I think sometimes when you are a gay athlete, sometimes you can be perceived as being weaker. And when I came out and I shared who I was with everyone, I found so much strength because I was owning who I was, and every single time I went out to compete, I was showing the judges, I was showing the audience, I was showing myself, this is who I am and this is what I'm made of. And it doesn't matter where I've come from, and it doesn't matter who I love. What matters is the kind of work I put in, how I treat the people I compete against, and what I stand for. And when I remembered that, I finally made it to the next Olympic trials, not without its fair share of drama. I love drama, but I don't love it when it's happening to me. And the year before the Olympics, I broke my foot. And this was a huge test in me, really kind of internalizing if I was doing the right things, even if I didn't go to the Olympics, I would still be incredibly proud of myself. That I had done the things that I felt were important, I had spoken about the things that I wanted to speak about, and I was representing who I truly was out at every single competition I went to. And whether you're part of the LGBTQ community or not, knowing that you're representing yourself to the best of your ability is the greatest victory of all. When you know that you are showing people what you're made of, you can share who you are, it is incredibly powerful. And I took that strength with me into that Olympic Games, and I finally qualified at 28, and I was the oldest person to qualify for the Olympic Games in figure skating since the 1920s. Love that. Thank you so much for your enthusiasm. And so I stopped looking around. I stopped worrying that my teammates were 17 and 18. I decided I was going to cheer for them instead. I stopped worrying about that I hadn't achieved some certain goals I had set for myself years ago, because I was here now, and I had to take all those necessary steps to get where I wanted to go. And what I learned throughout my skating career and in my life is that when I didn't worry about what other people thought, and when I focused on what was important to me, that's when I had my most success. That's when I went to bed every night and I was really proud of who I was and what I had done. And I realized that every misstep I've ever had and every time I've ever fallen short, it was never a failure because I learned something very important from it. And every time I went back to something that I felt like I messed up or I made a huge mistake, when I learned my lesson, I realized it was never something that I would ever regret. And that's how I live my life now. As long as I learn something, and as long as I learn something from every single thing I do, I still keep that winner's mentality. Because I learned that there's a difference between being a champion and being a winner. Being a champion is someone who wins the competition, but being a winner is a mindset. And when you go into everything with a winner's attitude, you will always walk away feeling proud and being a winner. Thank you all so much for listening to me today. You guys are amazing. Let's hear it one more time. Love you guys. Thank you so much. Enjoy. Thank you.